Good evening, everyone. How are you doing this evening? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Helen Christodoulou. I am your intuitive transformation coach, mentor, and author. What's going on tonight? How's it going? So we got some interesting information for you this evening. It's an interesting broadcast. It's all about your instinct and your intuition. And your instinct and intuition is said to be always right. Wrong, not always. So tonight we are here to discuss why that might be, okay? To find out why and how to correct it also. But it's actually a real possibility, guys, that our intuition can be distorted. It's what we call distorted intuitive or instinctual impulses, and it's an actual truth. It is something that can happen. So let's just get one thing straight to begin with. We all get stuff wrong. You know, it is very possible to get stuff wrong intuitively, and as we grow, of course, that changes. Ahinson, how are you doing this evening? So yeah, it's quite natural to get, little things wrong, but there are things that we do need to be very careful with, because we do allow our intuition and our instinctual impulses to sometimes govern, what it is that we do and also the paths that we take. I'm glad to hear that you're doing really well. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. Hey Anita, what's going on, darling? Are you excited about, is it today or tomorrow? Anita, are you ready? It's good to see you, darling. I'm glad that, it's here. Global Meditation Scope is here. It's begun. Has it begun already? I'm a bit confused with the timelines. So here, guys, is Anita Wing-Lee with her amazing Global Meditation Scope. Begins tonight. I'm on tomorrow at 8:30 Cyprus time. That's Eastern European time. So hopefully I'll have some time to nip into the rest and show my support. So lots of love, lots of light to your mission, to our mission, that it goes all super duper and well. But back to our subject for this evening, and that is all about instinct and intuition and how it can sometimes serve us and sometimes how it does not. So, of course, in most cases it is true. However, due to eons of artificial conditioning, instinctual impulses have become distorted. It is true. I've seen it happen with lots of people that have come into session. I see it happen a lot with clients and with students alike. So let's get some examples going, yeah, right? So the way it can go is we usually have like a gut feeling, yeah? Something that we are so sure about. It could be a fear, it could be a good feeling, or it could even be a bad feeling, but it could be also something that you have been taught in this lifetime, or it could even perhaps been something that you have brought in with you from other times and other places, perhaps another lifetime. It could be something that's embedded on your soul level even. Can you believe that? It's actually true. I've seen it happen. So it can be deeply embedded in your genetic codons. It could be something that is etched into your energy makeup, your energy fields. It could be in your energy centers. It could be in your DNA. And like I mentioned before, it can be on the soul level too. So we need to ask ourselves a question, and the question is why do you trust what you know to be real? Why do you trust what you know to be real? Life Path Studio, what's going on? So this is a really kind of hardcore question that we do need to ask ourselves, We need to know why we trust what we know to be real. Hello to you. What's up, Palinka? So what I'm going to do is give you a few examples so you can see how instinctual impulses or our intuition can at times be wrong. So one case that I had was a student who was very intuitive but was always prophesying doomsday. And whenever I checked in on whatever it was that she was saying, it wasn't resonant, it wasn't coming up as truth. And so this is an example where she has been programmed whereby disaster and doomsday are sort of like part of her makeup. It's something that's etched deep within. And even though she's highly intuitive, this was ringing true, but in fact, it's not an actual immutable truth, but a personal truth that she has perhaps lived in other times and other places. Another example was a young lad who was receiving psychic attacks for a very long time due to his long history of them. And so, of course, he was always feeling, therefore, that he is being psychically attacked. Now, that can be a problem because if we are so certain that something is so for real, then we can eventually induce it, as most of you already know. And I have another example too, whereby one of my students once came up to me and said, you know what, you are actually in danger. You know, your life is in danger, and it's something that I've seen intuitively, and I believe you need to do such and such and such about it. Again, I looked into the situation, and there wasn't any danger at all. So it's something to do with the person's own programming, with their own conditioning, and that can happen to absolutely any one of us. Yeah. So these are kind of examples where our instinctual impulses or our intuition can in fact be incorrect or wrong. Okay? Don't panic. It is something that we can set right. So we may become fixated on an intuitive certainty because perhaps once it was true. Therefore, it should still be true. So it may have been true on another timeline. It may have been true in another lifetime. It may have been true on another cycle of time, perhaps. Hey, crazy 4848, how you doing today? So yeah, it may have been true, but there's also the chance that we have moved on from that place. So it doesn't mean that because it was true once that it is true now. Yeah. So this is another thing that we need to be very aware of. So sometimes where we're so certain, you need to really evaluate that certainty because things may have changed. Energy changes, frequencies change all of the time. So what can we do to help ourselves with this? Well, we definitely need to get into some serious self-evaluation and assessment, and this should most definitely be mandatory, yeah? So what you can do is you can just check in on a feeling, on an instinctual impulse, on a fear, on a good feeling even, and just check, where does it come from? Does it fully resonate with me? What are the chances that this can be in coherence with immutable truth as much as it is with my own truth? So these are the things that we need to be looking at. The other thing that we can do is also to take responsibility for our intuitive receptions, so the stuff that we receive, but also be responsible for the stuff that we transmit too that is based on our intuitive receptions. And then the other way, of course, to take responsibility for that is how we act upon those receptions or those projections. It is most highly important, especially when it comes to the serious stuff. When it comes to minor things, it doesn't really matter all too much. But when it comes to the serious stuff, it really, really is important that you check. What about gut feelings about people, like don't know them but automatically don't like them? That is a great example, Life Path. Usually, like I said, for the most part, it is correct, but it could be distorted. And I'll give you an example how that could work. It may be, for example, it may be that perhaps in another life you had some connections with this person, okay? And so immediately and instinctually you feel that this person is no good, that you dislike them and what have you. But it could be based on another time and place experience, which is the example that I gave you earlier on, how it would fit into your example. So I could have had a negative experience with that person, which is producing this instinctual or this intuitive, natural feeling. But in fact, it's based on an experience. So that's how it may be distorted. Does that make sense? That's how distortions can occur. So, like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, it is okay to make mistakes. We all do them. But my general and most, I would say, important message that I'm stressing at the end of this little pocket of wisdom is that we do not make mistakes at the cost of another person's well-being. That's the most important thing to be taken care of. Or even perhaps at the cost of your own well-being too. So before you are in a hurry to jump to it, yeah, it makes sense for you. Glad to hear that. So before you're kind of in a rush to jump or to be sort of like really steadfast about what it is that you have picked up intuitively or instinctively, just take a moment, spend it with yourself and evaluate exactly what it is that's going on, why you are feeling it, where is it coming from, and justify what it is that's coming up. Does that make sense? Great, I'm glad. So guys, as you saw, darling Anita Wing Lee nipped in at the beginning of this scope, and I would just like to remind you that I will be hosting a global meditation scope myself, and that will be tomorrow morning, as I said, at 8:30 in the morning Eastern European time, which would be late in the evening in the United States, I do believe. And it's all going to be about alchemy, vibrational alchemy, and transforming from all the different levels of alchemy to reach the Philosopher's Stone. So if you are interested in partaking in such a process with me, then do join me. If you are not following me, do follow so that you can pick up a notification when I go on. And so I do hope for each and every one of you that immutable truth is the primary source of power, the force of power that is with you always. And it must there be ye. It means we are primary source. So I will catch you tomorrow for Global Meditation Scope, Transforming with Alchemical Processes, with me, Helen Christodoulou, your intuitive, transformative consultant, and I will be seeing you there. Do take care for now. Follow, share, and catch this stuff on my YouTube channel, Helen Christodoulou, and don't forget to subscribe. I will catch you tomorrow. Take care for now. Imastan Bigi.